Hey Danielle, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. So with my understanding, the last time you were here was about 3 months ago, correct?
Right.
How have you been doing since then? Has anything that we talked about last time that we were together been able to help you stay clean, or is there anything that you realized wasn't really helpful for you?
I've been good. I've been clean for 3 months. Mm-hmm. This past weekend, I had my sister's engagement party.
Okay, and how did that go?
I ended up drinking. Okay. We were out for dinner and drinks, and I ended up drinking.
Did you go there with the intention of drinking, or is it something that happened in the situation that you were in with the people, or what specifically do you think led you to that?
I didn't go there with the intent of drinking, but when I was there was alcohol flowing. Everybody was having drinks, and I thought, oh, maybe I could just have one. Mm-hmm. One led to about 3 or 4.
And how did you feel about in that moment while you were drinking? Did you have any feelings of guilt? Were you were you enjoying that you were drinking, or how did you feel about that?
I felt guilty, kind of like I shouldn't be doing this, but that first drink, it kind of just like a spark went through me because I hadn't drank in so long, which led to the second, third, and fourth one. But right now I'm feeling extremely guilty because I feel like it was such a waste of time getting clean for the past 3 months.
Well, it wasn't really a waste. I mean, it's kind of a learning experience. You're not going to be perfect. There's going to be some slip-ups. It's not expected, but they do occur. It's not abnormal. Right. The only thing you can do after that is to learn how to get back on track and keep going from there.
Okay.
So with the fact that you do feel the guilt, it's pretty clear that you still are wanting to seek help, correct?
Yes.
That you still want to continue to be clean?
Absolutely.
Okay. So there's a couple of things that we can do to help you get back on track. One of the things that we can do is called a relapse prevention card, which we're going to actually sit down and fill out. So there's 4 sections to the card. The first one, and I'll explain it as we go. The first section is the 4 Ds. Then we're going to talk about any distraction ideas, reasons to stay clean, and what will likely happen if you do use again.
Okay.
So in the first section, we're going to write the 4 Ds and their delay. And basically the way that this one works is they say that if you can delay the feelings of cravings for about 20 minutes, that it's likely to go away. So one way you can do that is distract yourself from that idea. So there's many different things that you can do, different activities. One of the things is deep breathing, which is always really good. That's actually another one of the Ds. And basically that just helps you to calm down, collect your thoughts, and think about the ideas that you're having, whether you think that they're good or bad. And the last one, which is sometimes really difficult for people, is decatastrophize. So what that means is sometimes when you're having these thoughts about drinking, you kind of get to a point where you're like, well, what's the worst that can happen? Like, if I just have one drink, like, I'm not doing well anyway, so what the heck, why not? So basically, the way that you can kind of like turn that around is instead of being like, well, I feel really crappy about this, drinking I know will make it go away, you can think better about it. Well, these symptoms might only last for a few days, and afterwards I'll feel really good about myself. So you kind of just have to think about turning the negative into a positive, and that can really help you. So those are the 4 Ds. So do you understand that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Okay. So the next one is reasons to stay clean. And sometimes a lot of people might not really see these at first, but if you think about them, sometimes they can really help you. So what are some things that you think are really positive that might be able to help you or prevent you from using, things that you really care about?
Well, I definitely wanted to further my education, because I do have a daughter. I wanted to further my education and get the best job I can for her.
So those are really good. Education's definitely really important.
And my daughter.
Yeah, and the day that you have your daughter, you could also, like, continuing your education and getting a job is also setting a good example for her, which I'm sure you want to do, right?
Right.
So those would be really good reasons. So that's one thing you could always, like, if you're having thoughts about wanting to use again, you could always think about those things that you have in your life that you're really lucky to be able to have, and that if you were to use, you might lose some of that.
Right.
So it's good to think about that. Those are really important. And another way is the distraction idea. So there's tons of different things. The list goes on and on. There's probably some things that are a little bit more personal to you that, like, you enjoy doing, any hobbies or interests.
Yeah.
So you could always use some of those. Like, personally, I like reading. So if I was in that kind of situation, I might be able to pick my favorite book. Maybe I've already read it before, but it's really deep. So that's a really good one. You could always find a book that you're really interested in that you could read, like I said, for maybe about 20 minutes. You can, like, pique your interest enough to be able to get that thought out of your head.
Right.
Is there anything else that you like to do?
I could definitely study, because in order to further my education, I'm going to have to study.
Well, that's definitely good. That can also help you in more ways than one, so that's a really great idea. And I know you said you had a daughter, so you'd probably be able to spend a lot of time with her, right?
Yeah, that's definitely high on my priority list.
You could have a mommy-daughter day. That might be a really good idea. You could go to the park or something.
It's definitely a distraction, having a 3-year-old.
Yeah, and keep you busy, right? Is there anything else?
I like to dance. I could probably start dancing again. I haven't done that in a while.
That's also really good because that's also healthy for you too. So it can help replace your negative, unhealthy addictions with something that's a little bit better. Like a lot of people, instead of if they have an addiction of something, they can replace it with saying going to the gym a lot or going on a diet and eating really healthy. That can help distract them because then they're putting those thoughts towards something else. Another really good idea to put in this section is any phone numbers of people that are really close to you that you can call for support, whether it be like a sponsor, a friend, a family member that's really supportive of what you're doing.
I'll put my brother. He's always really supportive in his recovery process. He too is recovering.
Well, perfect.
So I'll put his number and my cousin.
Great. And then if you're ever having any thoughts, you could call them up and talk them through and explain how you're feeling, and I can guarantee that they'd be able to help you feel better. And then so the last section is also what can happen if you use. So negative consequences of using.
Definitely first and foremost would be custody of my daughter.
Yep. You didn't think there's any others?
I could probably... My landlord could get word, not have a place to live, so homeless.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you'd want.
No.
That'd make your situation a whole lot harder.
I could lose my job, which is my means of support.
And then having your daughter, that's really
my
important.
daughter. So I think the main thing really is just I want to be able to better myself for my daughter, work, and maintaining a home for her.
All the things that are really, really important. Okay, so now that we have this filled out, this is also really, really great because it's small. You can fold it up and carry it around with you. And it also help you see like all the good things that you have in your life, like your education, your family, your daughter. You have a good job. You have a nice home to live in. And then you could also think about, well, if you do use again those things that you could lose, which would be many of those same things, which would put you back in the kind of situation that you were in before, which was not very easy to live through. And you don't want to go back. I can see that. So that's really important. It lets you see all the benefits of staying clean. And it also gives you ideas of things that you can do. So if I were you, I would keep this with you. You can, like I said, put it in your wallet, put it in your purse. If you have a locker at work or something, you can keep it in your locker. And if you ever have any of these ideas, you could pull it out, look through it, call a friend. Like you said, your brother, your cousin. Maybe not so much at work, maybe not be able to read a book at work. But you could do the deep breathing, take a second, take 5 minutes even. Then you could just do some deep breathing. So that's really good. A drink of water is always really good as well, too. So is there any questions that you had? Is there anything that you wanted to add to the list?
No, I think this will be a really good starting point to kind of get my mind away from any negative thought I might have.
Perfect. So just make sure that you take this with you. If you have any questions, don't feel afraid to call or come in. You're gonna come back in eventually, and we can actually see how this is working out for you, find out if there's anything that's not working, make any adjustments that we need to make, and then I will see you next time. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.